Right, guys, welcome to the very first film review. And I says I would do it on a Friday since the weekend's coming up. I have two films for you that I watched just the past couple of days, and they're both horror films. Now, I'm not keen on horror films. When I was younger, I loved horror films, as my family will testament to that. I used to love horror films, but since I had the PTSD, I have nightmares now, so I try and avoid horror films. But these two are, I think, they're a bit mildly pleasant. But anyway, I watched the two of them. One is a new film that's basically came out on Prime. It's called The Voyage of the Demeter, the last voyage of the Demeter. Wait, I just get that. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Now, everybody knows about Bram Stoker's Dracula. This was in the last, I think it's the last passage on the book about the last voyage. Basically it's about Dracula and his coffin getting taken overseas to England. Anyway, you've probably read the book anyway, but anyway, this film, The Last Demeter, there's been a couple of films made of them, and I've seen the other ones as well. This one here, I must say that I prefer because of the cinematography. Is beautiful in it, out in the ocean at night time, the scary music, the suspense, the horror, whatever. The best bit that I found in that film was when the rats were jumping ship to get away from this evil on the ship. So yeah, that's one of my best recommendations for this week, is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. And I'd say the actors were pretty good in it, yeah. There's a couple that was like modern, if you understand what I mean, modern people instead of the time of the age character. So yeah, some people will like that, but yeah, and the costumes are great. Costumes were really good, but the set, the cinematography, everything to do with the film, I thoroughly enjoyed. It kept me gripped. So, and the scary bits, as I says, I can't watch too jumpy movies, but they were just fine, just for the I mean, they got it just right, just not too scary and not too horror-y. Yeah, so I didn't have any nightmares anyway, so it must have worked. But basically, it's the voyage, as it says, it's Dracula's coffin with him inside, and it's getting taken on a voyage across the oceans, mainly at night time for the drama. But yeah, going across the sea and whatever, and it's basically just your Count Dracula film. Victims getting knocked off and bitten in the neck one by one. But yeah, a really enjoyable film. I'm not going to say too much because film reviews should just be a wee hint of what the film is about and if someone likes it or whatnot, and what audience, because you don't want to give the game away too much. So that's my first choice, is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Demeter. But yeah, I highly recommend that one. And I think it only came on Prime just this week. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll give it a good 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think that's a good mark for it. Now, my next film is The House That Dripped Blood. The House That Dripped Blood. This is way back in the 1970s, just my era. I was born in 1963. So just as I was growing up, teenage up to my teens, this film came out. I love the style of this film. It's Peter Cushing, one of my favourite actors. Christopher Lee's in it as well. But it's basically about 3 horror films. It's like the House of Horrors, but it's centred on this old mansion house that people are away to rent. Well, they want somewhere to stay, so they go and rent this mansion, and I think it's 3 stories, yeah, on 3 different people, and it gives you each person's view of the house, because the house is supposed to be haunted, and that's why it's called The House That Dripped Blood. And it's Peter Cushing, John Pertwee, Doctor Who. I love him. I love his character. I love his methods, whatever, especially in Doctor Who. But Peter Cushing, John Pertwee, and Christopher Cushing. That's the 3 main characters in this film, this horror film. And as you know, in the 1970s, horror films were just at the low end of scariness. Enough to scare children and whatever, like me when I was young. But adults, if you look back now, it's magnificent. They were magnificently made. Hammer House of Horror comes to mind. I don't know if the people were involved with this or whatever, but it's just got that vibe to it. And the one thing that sticks in my mind in this film is the jazzy. Remember in the 1960s, the flower power, all the hippies and whatever. This film has got it. It's got the shirts. They all wear these big collar shirts with flowers and whatever on it. And you know those tie scarves, the silk scarves that the men used to wear? Yeah, flamboyant. I might even just get one of those scarves or make one up. I just love that style way back in the 70s, the 60s and the 70s. So it's got that vibe all the way through this film, but it's also got the horror side to it. So pay attention to the horror. No more nightmares for me again. It was mild, but I loved it. I just loved the location it was shot in down in England, the big mansion they used. I mean, I'm an antique lover, so my eyes were on these houses, the gardens, everything antique style. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that film as well. So anyway, that's my 2 recommendations for this Friday. Go and check them out. Read them again, because my memory as my age goes. The Last Voyage of the Demeter and The House That Dripped Blood. That's my recommendations for this week. So go and check them out. And I hope you enjoy them just like I did. And I didn't have nightmares, so they were mild. The first one wasn't, though. It was pretty scary, but not too much. But anyway, catch you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this one. Give me the thumbs up. Bye-bye. Now, up to Leafy's Wood. No more horrors. Sorry guys, I gave this one a 10 out of 10. It's one of my favourite genre of films, like the Hammer House films, so 10 out of 10. And bear with me, I'm still learning this film review and the set on, yeah. It'd be better next time.